surely from a competitor standpoint, you got to be just looking forward to this race.
Yeah, this is again one of those races that I look forward to when I hear I'm going to go, because it's just something you don't get an opportunity to do all year. So I'm ready for it.
Is it fun simply because also, I mean, you're facing some terrific competition that we don't necessarily get in the East all the time. You're getting to travel, you're seeing a different place, different opponents, as it were, competitors. It's got to be just fun also.
Yeah, it's fun. The whole trip itself is an experience. Like, we're on a completely different coast. The time's going to be different. This is a 300-meter flat track. I've never run on one of those before. So the whole experience itself is something to look forward to.
For you now to be successful, the goal is you want to get a time that qualifies you for the NCAA Indoor Championships. Do you have to run the best race of your life?
Not necessarily the best race of my life. This is going to be more so like tactically. I'm going to need to run better than I have ever, but it doesn't necessarily have to be my best performance. I just have to maintain the position on the top, and as long as I go for the win in the race, then if I'm able to do that, the time's going to be there, and that's also going to help the experience level when I go up against those guys at the NCAA level if I am able to make it.
Now you're running just 800 meters. I talked to Paul, it's 5,000 meters. To a novice observer, a casual observer, it sounds like there's got to be a lot more strategy in 5,000 meters. But I listen to you and I gather there's really just as much strategy in 800 meters.
Yeah, so for 800, a lot of people just say go out and sprint it and you just die and whatever you finish, but more so it's you want to have some strength to you when you're running, but you also need to have speed too, and you need to be able to control your speed so you don't burn yourself out too early. So that's where the strength part comes in. So I mean, you can really only make one move in an 800, and you want to make sure you're not going to burn yourself out, potentially lose because of it.
So how for you, you're going to make one move. You don't want to burn yourself out early. Is there a particular strategy, a particular approach that this is what you do?
No, I mean, it's more so natural. You know the move's coming within 300 meters left in the race. So usually I just set myself up. I'm prepared for any moves that are going to be made. But once that last 150 comes, you usually just want to be turning on the wheels and trying to get yourself up in front and hold that position.
800 meters, we don't think of that as being that long a race. It's barely middle distance. It's kind of a long sprint in some ways. That said, I also get the feeling, listening to you, that as much as it's about speed, there's also an endurance factor.
Yeah, so that's why I train with this. I do specific workouts that would help with the mile and the 1,000 and such races, because anyone can go out and sprint a lap. It's all about holding that second lap and being able to match the first lap potentially, or increase the pace and be able to keep running, because a lot of people, you could just run a lap and then by the time you have 200 meters left, you could already be wanting to jog because the lactic acid is going to hit your legs at that point. So the strength helps hold that off and makes it easier to close up the race.
Now, and I know whether we're talking about the pole vault, whether we're talking about the 60, whether we talk about the 5,000, it's always about eliminating mistakes. 800 isn't that long. No, it's not the 60, but it's not that long. Is it kind of part of the approach is just no mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, that's typically the goal, because some mistakes could ultimately ruin the race. I mean, nobody's perfect at that distance, especially because it's a very hard distance to perfect, I think. But yeah, going into the races, I want to try to run it as tactically smooth as I can while competing. With little mistakes, it just makes for a good race.
I know when I talk to cross-country runners and marathon runners, they always talk about a point where there's pain and you got to fight through the pain. At 800 meters, is there a point where there's pain?
Well, I'd like to say the whole race hurts, but yeah, once you really hit 300 to go and the pace starts pushing, that's where it starts to hurt, and you got to really mentally drive through it.
Which brings me perfectly into my next question. How much of the 800 meters is physical? How much is mental?
It's a good mixture of both, because you can do the first lap and that's just pure, like, it's easy mentally, but then as soon as you hit that second lap, like I said, 300 to go, 200 to go, you really got to push yourself to drive your knees and your arms, which is the physical part, but also the mental part, because you're really hurting at that point. And it's about 29, 28 seconds left in the race, so you got to mentally push yourself to finish that. Try to keep with the other guys and compete with them.
148. Can you get under 148?
That's the goal.
All right, let's hope you hit that goal. Sean, thank you.
You're welcome.